Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Italy's most wanted mafia boss, Matteo Messina Denaro, has been arrested in Sicily after 30 years on the run. More than 100 members of the armed forces are said to have been involved in the arrest. Italian media reported that he had been receiving treatment when he was captured just before 10 a.m. and taken to a secret location by the Carabinieri. Messina Denaro was tried and sentenced to life in jail in absentia in 1992 over numerous murders. He is alleged to have been the boss of the notorious Cosa Nostra Mafia. Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, visited prosecutors in Palermo, congratulating them after the arrest.
The arrest is a very, very important event. Obviously, Mr. Matteo Messina Denaro is the keeper of fundamental secrets in very delicate matter. As, for example, the reasons of the most serious mafia crimes or the possible connivance between political subjects and mafia leaders. So now we have to consider, and this is the basic question, what will happen? Will he cooperate with the judicial authority or not?
The mayor of Dnipro in Ukraine has warned there may be no further survivors after Saturday's Russian missile strike on the apartment building in the eastern city. A whole section of the 9-story block collapsed and authorities say at least 36 people have died. Rescue efforts are continuing. Several others are still missing and 75 survivors were injured. Russian President Vladimir Putin's spokesman insisted that the Russian military did not strike at residential buildings. Investigators in Nepal have found the black boxes on board the flight that crashed in the country's deadliest flight disaster in 30 years. Extraordinary footage shows the plane dramatically tilting moments before it goes down. Video in the moments after the crash shows the desperate efforts to rescue those on board. There were 72 passengers and crew aboard the Yeti Airlines flight from Kathmandu to the tourist town of Pokhara, which crashed. No one is believed to have survived. A Metropolitan Police armed officer who used his role to put fear into his victims has admitted dozens of rape and sexual offences against 12 women. David Carrick, who met some victims through dating websites, pleaded guilty to 49 offences across 2 decades. The Metropolitan Police has apologised after it emerged he had come to the attention of police over 9 incidents, including rape allegations, between 2000 and 2021. A senior officer said his offending was unprecedented in policing.
This is devastating. It's devastating for the victims that have had to go through pain and suffering at the hands of a serving police officer. It is devastating to the trust and confidence that we are working so hard to earn from women and girls across London. It's devastating to colleagues of David Carrick.
European royalty have gathered in Athens for the funeral of the former King Constantine of Greece, who ruled for just 3 years in the 1960s before being forced into exile. Royals from Europe, including Britain's Princess Anne and Spain's King Felipe and Queen Letizia, attended the Orthodox Christian service at the Metropolitan Cathedral in central Athens. Constantine II, a second cousin of Britain's King Charles and godfather to the heir Prince William, lived most of his life abroad but returned to his homeland in his latter years. He died at an Athens hospital last week, aged 82. And locks of white, black and brown ducks are hunting for snails and bugs as they patrol the grapevines at a vineyard in South Africa's winemaking town of Stellenbosch. The birds help the owner steer clear of pesticides and synthetic fertilizers. Around 500 Indian runner ducks work as a natural pest control and are at the heart of the winery's regenerative agricultural practices, and specifically Indian runner ducks, which have long legs and an upright posture, meaning they are able to reach for snails between the leaves. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.